Well, so we filed a motion to the court to have him remain in jail without a bond, and until we had the hearing. And as you saw today, we had hearings in two separate courts, and Mr. Davis's lawyer put forward some different conditions that they suggested would satisfy the court's concerns and our concerns, and we believe that those conditions that they put forward and that the judges said and accepted are reasonable conditions of bond, and treat him like you treat anyone else in similar types of situations. So I think at this time the state is satisfied that the conditions imposed will be adequate to have any other conduct.
You think they're stopping him from breaking the order the first time?
I'm sorry?
You think these conditions are adequate for him to not reoffend?
I believe that, surely everything's up to him. But if you were in court today and you listened to Judge Johnson and Judge Anderson speak directly to him, particularly with Judge Johnson, his idea was to get the message over to him directly that the only person that will get in trouble for any violations is him. So I think the court's made it clear. I think his lawyers have surely made it clear, and hopefully that's the message. And then we can move forward with the facts of the case and try to resolve it if there's such a resolution, or present whatever facts we need to present. And this case will be carried on just like all the others. But right now, there's so much information and evidence that's out there that the LSU Police Department is going through, that we're going through, and that we'll eventually share with defense counsel and then move the case forward.
They mentioned that the 50 miles radius away from campus, and is there still concern that there might be contact between them?
I mean, look, you could, nowadays with technology and phones, you can go to the moon and still have contact with people. So I think that the conditions that the court set are reasonable. Could there have been others? Possibly, but I think with the conditions imposed are reasonable conditions that should deter any future behavior.
Has the victim made any more contact with your office, or since the second arrest, has she or the alleged victims? We
are routinely in touch with the victim and other witnesses in this case.
So just to make sure, the charges the counts he's charged on rather, is for the arrest for battery, the arrest for violating that protective order, and then the pornography charges. So 3 different things.
So correct. So at this point, Mr. Davis is presumed innocent, and he has been arrested for charges. We have not filed any formal charges, which we anticipate doing sometime in the near future once we review the evidence. So he has several domestic violence charges, contempt charges, violation of protective orders, and then the most recent charge. So at this point, we're just looking at all the evidence.
So what happens next here? Is there a status hearing?
Neither of the judges set a status hearing. I think it'll now be incumbent upon us to make a decision on what charges, if any, we file, and that would then implicate another court date sometime in the future. So it's really right now just a matter of us going through all of the evidence. And as you know, you've seen we've seized phones, and when you seize a phone, the amount of information, the volume of information in cell phones are unbelievable. And so following the seizure of the phones, that leads us to other avenues to have to interview people, look at documents, maybe talk to other people. I mean, you can imagine if we took your phone, we would find just the volume of information on there and the time it takes to go through it.
With the evidence in the phone you bring up that you're looking at, could any more charges be added right now?
At this point, I do not anticipate any other charges based on my review of the information we have thus far. So no, I do not see that.
What was the emphasis on them taking the passport? Is he a flight risk?
No, I think it's something that we normally do. It just wasn't articulated early on. There was no indication anyone would leave the country. It's one of the standard things that we do.
What is his relationship with the Walker family that he's supposed to be staying with once he's released out?
I don't have any. I'm not going to comment on what family, if any, the name of any family or where they live. Just suffice it to say that we are satisfied that the family that has agreed to assist this young man is one that we find acceptable, and we appreciate them doing what they doing under the circumstances, and so we wish that they would remain anonymous and let them do their job as the court has imposed and as they've agreed to. We appreciate we appreciate that effort.
Are the conditions of this the bond fair for a domestic violence case?
Yeah, I think that, I think really if you look at things, they're either be considered normal. We have seen people that have alleged to offend and then re-offend again. We've seen that time and time again, but we never see cameras outside of court unless it's somebody particularly different, and that's why we're here today. If this had been someone else, we probably wouldn't be having a news conference. So I think what's happened today, he's probably gotten more attention than others that would go under the radar, so to speak. So I'm satisfied with the conditions at this point.